Okay, so I already went ahead and did my face makeup off camera. That way we can just really focus on this palette. This is the Makeup Revolution Ultra Eye Contour Light in Shade palette. You guys have probably heard about this because it was pretty controversial, kind of, I guess, a little bit after it came out, because it is just like the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette for her eyes. So it's literally set up the same exact way, same colors, all mattes. But this retails for $15, so it is actually, I think, less than half of the cost of the Kat Von D palette. So when I saw this, it really piqued my interest, and I was like, I've got to try that on my channel because, I mean, it's a dupe for a high-end makeup palette, and you guys know how I am about my matte shadows, and it's so hard to find good mattes at the drugstore. So let's get started on the tutorial. Okay, so this is a first impressions tutorial. Just FYI, I have never used this palette before. I've been holding on to it, and I'm so excited to finally use it. So it doesn't have a mirror, so I'm going to have to use, I'm just going to use this e.l.f. palette for a mirror, but, so that kind of stinks, but that's okay. I mean, it's cheap enough. So I think today what we're going to do is start by mixing these two colors as our first transition shadow. So I'm just going to take a fluffy brush, and I'm going to scoot up a little bit. Oh, okay, so there is some pretty good kick up. I don't know. You guys probably can't see it, but see, it's kind of in this brown shade. So there's a lot of kick up, so just be careful with that. It's very powdery. Okay, so that was just going in it one time in the product and then once on my eye. And I feel like it's pretty light, but also these shadows are really light too. So, and I don't ever just go in into my transition shadow just once. I always have to build it. So that's not alarming yet. Obviously, my camera isn't going to pick everything up as well as like me looking in the mirror, so I'm just going to try to explain to you guys as best I can, but it is blending out really nicely so far on the eye. Okay, so I went ahead and did the other eye, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly how powdery it is, like what all it kicked up just doing those two shadows on my lid. So I'll have to be really careful. I don't want to have any fallout on my rest of my face makeup, so that makes me a little nervous. Okay, so we're going to keep with a fluffy brush, and I think I'm going to go in with this lighter brown right here. This is coming up gray in the camera, but I think anyways, but it's not really, I mean, it's definitely cool tone, but it's not gray. But we're going to go in with this shadow right here. Again, still on the fluffy brush. There is kick up on that shadow also, so I need to be careful, but I'm going to place this lower on the crease. And as I get less and less product on my brush, that's when I start to move those shadows up here, and to start to kind of help to diffuse those harsh lines. So I feel like that blended out really well also. I'm actually pretty shocked. I will say that, like, compared to a Makeup Geek eyeshadow, they're not as blendable, but they're definitely nothing that you guys couldn't work with. I mean, they're not taking any extra time, they're just maybe not as blendable. Okay, so next I'm going to pick up the Morphe M433, and we're going to go into this shadow right here, which is what I'm most excited about, because those kind of browns, those rusty color browns, are my personal favorite, and I love them. I don't know why. I just think they're so pretty. So it is really pigmented. I mean, I barely tap my brush into it. Again, it's still pretty powdery, so be really careful. Okay, so that color, and that's probably more so because of the colors that I applied. This shadow right here was a little bit deeper than I had anticipated, so I feel like that's probably just the wrong way to do it. But you can tell there's a little bit more of a rust tone to it. It's just not as rusty as I thought it was going to be. Rusty? I don't know if that's a good thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is just clean up the lid a little bit with the white shadow. So I'm just going to take a flat definer brush, and we're going to pick up the creamy, yeah, this one right here. And obviously I'm not going in any particular order of the palette, but it is set up where you can do a makeup look in kind of like these quadrants. Okay, so just to deepen it up just a little bit more, I'm going to go in with this chocolate brown right here and just apply this to the very outer corner, very just lightly. I don't want to go too deep, but it's actually a really pretty brown. So to blend out a little bit more, I'm going to go with a Morphe M330. The lash line, the bottom lash line, I'm actually going to use the brush that that came in the palette. It has kind of a more defined skinny end and then a little bit more of a fluffier end. I would not apply my actual lid colors with this particular brush, but since it came in the palette, we're going to use it today. So just like we usually do, I'm going to go in kind of in order. So I'm first just going to apply that peachy kind of color. Whoa. Okay, that fell all over my lid, so probably not going to use that. So that, like, as soon as I placed it, it just went down on to my cheeks. So I would suggest if you do use this palette to probably do your eye makeup first and then the rest of your face makeup last, which I typically do that most of the time anyways, but I don't know why I did it the other way, but okay, so we're just going to go ahead and go into this rusty color, and I think we're going to use that mainly to smoke everything out. I'm going to take the flat, more defined end and apply it direct. Okay, so I did go into that color 3 times, and kind of what I did was just applied it really close to the lash line, went in again, applied it a little bit lower, went in again, and applied it at the lowest point where I like to apply my shadows underneath my eyes. So just to let you guys know. Okay, then I'm going to take just a little fluffier end and go into the chocolate brown and that first color and just kind of mix it and just really lightly kind of blend the back part of it out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some mascara and probably some nude liner, and then I'll be right back to wrap up the review. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. Overall, I do actually really like this palette. I will say it does have a lot of kickback and could potentially result in some fallout onto your makeup. So like I said earlier, just be sure and apply. I would do your eye makeup first if you're going to use this palette, and then wipe under the eyes, and then do the rest of your face makeup. But overall, for a drugstore all matte palette, it's pretty good. I would have to compare it to the e.l.f. Mad for Mattes, just because that's the only other drugstore matte palette that I have. I want to say that I know that's out, but that might not be entirely true. This one is $10.99 and it's e.l.f. And then of course this one is $15 and it's the Makeup Revolution, and I purchase this at Ulta, like in the store. You can also purchase it online if you want to. I will say the e.l.f. doesn't have any kickback or fallout. So if you just kind of like this shade, having just kind of a basic staples of mattes, this might be perfectly fine for you. If you are more interested in maybe doing eye makeup looks that are kind of already set out for you, or you kind of have like a guide, this might be more helpful. I will say the shadows are really pretty. I really like my eye makeup the way it turned out. Let me swatch some of the colors for you guys just so you can see them. So these are the 3 of the darkest shades that I used. So I'm not good at swatches, sorry guys. So these are them swatched, and honestly I feel like they're pretty good. That was just one finger and then, you know, a finger swatch. So I mean, overall for drugstore, again, I think they're really, really good. I'm actually pretty pleased with it. The downside is the kickback and the possible fallout, but that's going to happen. I mean, if you're doing eyeshadows with pigmented colors, that's going to happen. So, but for $15, it's a lot cheaper than the Kat Von D one. So I would have to say yes to this particular palette, and I would definitely go pick it up. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys are going to grab it or not, or what you thought of it overall. Also, if you think it's super shady of Makeup Revolution to just like copy people's other brands' makeup products, so because that's pretty controversial. For me, I'm all about saving $1, so whatever, I like it. I'm glad they do it. And yeah. So that's it for this tutorial. I will see you guys next time. Bye! Seriously, a little bit goes a very long way. Like, I mean, I tapped my hand and look at that coverage. It is so full coverage.